Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film The Nun 2. Fun fact, there is a blink and you'll miss it nun cameo in Annabelle Creations when the nun in that film is talking about her old group of sisters. This film came out in 2023 and stars Taissa Farmiga, Storm Reid, and Jonas Bloquet and was directed by Michael Chaves. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The Nun 2 follows Sister Irene, who has to go up against the nun once again, who was after the eyes of Saint Lucy and is killing all of Lucy's descendants. The Nun 2 is a supernatural horror film. It has similar vibes to The Nun, Warrior Nun, and The Conjuring 2. The Nun 2 is the latest in the Conjuring universe, and you might be wondering why we need a Nun 2. And to be honest, I'm still wondering the same thing. I love horror films, so I watched this movie, and it was entertaining enough to get me through the film, but I was asking why did we need a sequel considering how the first film ended? The acting in this movie was great, and I think that is one of the reasons I think this movie isn't a complete loss. Taissa Farmiga is great as Sister Irene, and I was happy to see her return to the franchise. She is joined by newcomer Sister Deborah, played by Storm Reid, who also is great as this nun who questions her faith. And I was interested to see how she, was going to handle what was to come. And I thought she did a great job being thrust into this supernatural drama. Jonas Bloquet returns as Frenchie and gives a horrifying performance as a possessed Frenchie. Caitlin Downey was great as Sophie, which is one of the first people to start noticing some weird stuff going on at this school, but she's pretty brave even though you can see she is really scared about this whole nun situation. Anna Popwell was fantastic as Kate, and I love how she was brave for all of the kids at this school and made sure, especially, that Sophie was safe. One thing about Anna is that when I first saw her in this movie, I immediately said Narnia. That was all I can think of when I saw her face. Just because, if you don't know, she was in that movie. So obviously, that was a big movie years ago, and I remember her specifically from that film. Anywho, the cast was great, and I enjoyed seeing them deal with this crazy, scary demon nun. You would think after the first interaction that Sister Irene had with the nun, she would be more prepared, but it seemed like she really wasn't and was just winging it once again. They make her seem like the only person who can stop the nun, but to be honest, she would have died if she was alone, and she only survived because she had a group of people helping her, and I think that's something that they should have focused on instead of constantly trying to prove to us that she is the chosen one that can take down the nun. Sophie was the real MVP of this film because she was truly out here helping whenever she could and was making some smart decisions so that she wouldn't get caught by this demon. This movie starts off slow in the beginning, and I'm happy that it ramps up towards the second and third acts. I think that's something that I often see in horror films slow beginnings and then a bunch of jump scares at the end to really push the story forward. I think it's best to offer a good amount of scares throughout the entire film while also trying to move the story forward at a good pace. So your viewers aren't like bored in the beginning and kind of lose interest up until, the middle or end of the film. They should be completely invested throughout the entire film. At the end of the first film, they showed how the nun escaped by possessing Frenchie, and then they did a fast forward to the Warrens teaching a class about the exorcism of Maurice that they did that's mirroring a scene from the first Conjuring film. The reason I bring this up is because in the film, they seemingly rid him of this demon, but then the question remains what about when the Warrens interacted with him and what would be the future? It's confusing because the question remains, does this mean that Valak wasn't destroyed? And does it keep popping up until the Warrens get involved and the ending was useless? Or does it mean that they forgot about this scene from the first Nun and will just pretend like it didn't happen? It was confusing to see and made me question once again why we needed a sequel, because it made the sequence of events that happen in other movies in this Conjuring franchise more confusing. I don't know if it's just me, but this film seemed more gory than the other films in a Conjuring universe. I think that that was great to see because you're not going to tell me that there wouldn't be a whole bunch of blood while heads are out here rolling because some demon is just tossing people across the room. This movie utilizes jump scares to scare the viewer, which is something I personally enjoy. It gets my heart racing and keeps me looking for the next jump scare. Even some of the obvious ones, like the magazine stand one, which I must add was very cool, still caught me off guard. I know some people don't like jump scares or get tired of them, but I really enjoy them in horror films. Seeing the Warrens at the end made me so excited because The Conjuring is one of my favorite movies, and I just love seeing them pop up. Seeing them also made me question if Irene and Lorraine are related in the films, which I think would be kind of cool considering the actresses are sisters in real life. I think my favorite part was when the possessed Frenchie was throwing people like rag dolls trying to get to the eyes. This caught me off guard because typically these ghosts will push and pull people without touching, but this time he was showing that these demons could really throw some punches if they really wanted to. I think that we've seen people possessed, but rarely we've seen them showing some real strength. And I thought it was cool to see that this demon can possess someone and this real strength will come through and some people will be flying across the room. The Nun 2 is the latest addition to the Conjuring franchise and it is a mixed bag. I thought the cast was great, but the story is lacking and makes me at times question if we really needed another Nun movie, but I did enjoy the jump scares. One thing I do admire about the franchise is the continual world building. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.